Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to episode number 70 of the Houston Astros franchise here on MLB The Show 20. We have finished another month of the 21 season as we finish the month of June. So this week we're going to take a look back at the month of June, well today, to see how our Astros did, how the rest of the league stands up, especially since we did just cross the halfway point. So very excited for this one. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below, especially for more franchise content. You're so close to 250 subscribers. You actually might hit it by the time this video goes out. We'll have to wait and see. But this is a live commentary, so I'll be going through it as I speak. So we'll start off with the month of June. You can see the Astros record right here. The Astros finished 21-6 in the month of June, playing phenomenal baseball. Our AAA squad, they went 14-13, so about average, and the same thing with their AA squad. They went 15-12, and they just started the second half of their season. They're currently sitting at 3-4, so at least all three levels of our squads went above 500. I think that's the first time that's happened in the series. Speaking of how our teams did, we're going to take a look at the standings now, go around the league, starting with the AL East. The Boston Red Sox actually lead that division. I thought it was the Yankees, but the Red Sox, one of the hottest teams in baseball, have taken the lead in the East. In the Central, the White Sox are now sit at 50-37. They had a phenomenal month of June. If you remember, last recap at the end of May, no team was above 500 in this division, so the White Sox really went and jumped out ahead of the pack. In the West, we sit in first with 10.5 over the Angels, and then the wild card is Yankees, Angels, followed by Rays, A's, and Indians. In the NL East, the Nationals and the Mets are actually tied in first place in the division at 48-30 apiece. The Brewers lead the Central, but only by half a game, 50-36 over the 50-37 Cubs. And then the best team in baseball is, per usual, the Los Angeles Dodgers, sitting at 61-25. Maybe this is the year they actually win a World Series. The wild card is the Cubs and the Rockies. The Nationals and the Mets are right behind them. So let's go to players of the month before I forget, because I have a habit of forgetting players of the month sometimes. In the American League, pitcher of the month goes to Carlos Rodon. He won all 4 of his decisions. He had a 2.48 ERA and struck out 41 batters. Player of the month is for the Tigers, Christian Stewart. Only hit 295, but 13 bombs and 22 ribbies. And the Rookie of the month is another Los Angeles Angels player, Evan White, who is actually leading Rookie of the Year for the American League. He had 267, 3 homers, and 14 RBIs. Here is his card in case you are curious to see how he's doing. It looks like he came over from Seattle, so Angels got another good prospect on their hands. And the National League pitcher is Scott Alexander, a reliever from Los Angeles. He didn't give up a single earned run in the month of June. Player of the month, Marcell Ozuna, who had a 379 ERA, actually raked in the month of June. 5 homers, 18 RBIs. And then Bryson Stott is your Rookie of the month. He had 377. That's almost good enough to be Player of the month because he had way more at bats as well. Bryson Stott doing good things for Philadelphia. So now we'll go to the team rankings, see where we stack up around the league. Batting average, we are the best hitting team in baseball. That is awesome to see. Josh Bell has really helped us out in that category. He has played really, really well. As you can see, the highest hitter on our squad. Runs, we are second in runs, however, behind the Red Sox by 1. Home runs, we do hit our fair share of long balls, sitting in third behind the Red Sox and the Yankees. And the Athletics do sit in fourth. They do have a very powerful squad. We saw that a couple episodes ago when we played them. Stolen bases, we do rank last in the league. Don't steal a lot of bases, but instead we just hit it out of the park. That is an area I'd like to improve, however, maybe closer to the deadline. ERA, we'll go to the pitching side of things. We sit a little lower in 15th, so right in the middle of the pack. I would like to see this get better. It has gotten better in the past couple weeks. We were like in 18th, 19th, 20th range. But our ERA really needs to improve, especially in the back half of our rotation. Home runs allowed, I feel like we're going to be bad in this category. Oh no, we're actually tied for 9th. I thought we'd give up way more home runs than that, but that's a pleasant surprise. Walks allowed, we actually do walk 13th in the league in walks allowed. Strikeouts, I feel like we should be higher than 14th. Verlander gets a lot of strikeouts. McCullers gets a lot of strikeouts. I wish other pitchers would get a lot of strikeouts. And then lastly, we are the second best team in baseball behind the Dodgers, followed by the Yankees and the Red Sox at 3-4 apiece. But now we'll go to player stats like we usually do. This takes up majority of the episode. I am going to do it by positions. I'm going to try to go a little faster because I do want to take a look at league leaders before we go. But we're going to start off, I'm going to sort it by average. And I'm going to start off by positions like I did last time. Starting with catcher, Garrett Stubbs, who's up to a 277 average, 7 homers, 35 RBIs. He has been a pleasant surprise in the past month. He's actually been one of the biggest improvers on the team in the month of June. His average is on to an all-time high. He's hitting the long ball way better. I was looking for a catcher, I think, in the month of July. I was going to look for a catcher at the deadline, but I don't think I'm going to now. I think Garrett Stubbs has earned that position to be the starting catcher, and he's taken it and run with it. He's also a very good defensive catcher. Backup catcher is Maldonado. He's hitting 208 this year, 3 homers, 15 RBIs. He is a free agent in the offseason, as you can tell, and he was platooning to start the year, but he is officially just straight up backup catcher. Don't think he'll be brought back at the end of the year. First base, Josh Bell, our newest acquisition. He played his first full month with the Astros, and he's been nothing short of spectacular. Hitting 314 average, his career high, as well as a 990 OPS, so a career high in those categories. Mashing 20 long balls, 53 RBIs. We do have one more year of arbitration with him, but I look to hopefully get a long-term extension done by the time he hits full-on free agency. And now our backup first baseman is Justin Smoke. He played pretty good before the Bell acquisition, but he's just kind of the backup first baseman now. I think he still deserves a role on this team, which is why I haven't DFA'd him or anything. But I feel confident in calling on him if we have to. Second base is Jose Altuve, who's kind of gotten back to that AL MVP form. 307 average, 12 homers, 31 ribbies, 7 stolen bases. Just an all-around player. As you can see, his average dipped last year, but it's shot back up to the Jose Altuve we know in the 300s. 898 OPS. He's hit 12 homers. Absolute phenomenal player. At third base, we have Alex Bregman, who's also turned into where he should be, which is one of the best players in the league, especially at a 99 overall. He's hitting 310. He was your May player of the month, as he also has 24 homers and 71 RBIs. So I think he is on pace to break his RBI totals and his home run career high. And he's hitting a career high in average. So another career year for another one of our infielders, as we have arguably the best infield in the league. Shortstop Carlos Correa, he's blossomed his average. He was hitting like low 200s to start the year, and he's back up to the 300s, 17 homers, 54 RBIs. Free agent after this offseason, so he is really improving his stock. Wants $23.5 million as of right now. I can see that going up. I think he deserves more. And we're going to have to do some maneuvering if we want to keep him around, and I would love to keep Carlos Correa all around. More on that in a moment. We'll go to the outfield now, starting with left field, which has kind of been a hodgepodge of players. But we'll start off with Michael Brantley, who's hitting 283 with 8 homers and 20 RBIs. His average was in the 300s for most of the year, so he has taken a dip this month. He is still on my trade block. I've been wanting to trade him all year. Nobody's really just made an offer for him. Hopefully teams at the deadline start to come around, because we do have a log jam in the outfield, and he's still my odd man out. The other left fielder who he's kind of been platooning with is Avisel Garcia. He's only hitting 268 with 7 homers and 25 RBIs, so another player that's kind of dipped in the month of June. He's hitting better than he did last year, but I think Garcia, he is supposed to be known for his contact, his hitting, but hopefully he can pick it up, because I want to deal Brantley. I want to give Garcia that left field spot, but if he doesn't improve, then I don't know about that. And is he a free agent after this year? He is also a free agent, so another guy we have to think about if we want to bring back. The other man listed as left fielder is Yordan Alvarez. He's got 17 bombs, 55 RBIs, but his average is at a 252, which is lower than I would like for it to be. His average has dropped the past 3 seasons, and his strikeouts have also gone way up. He's already struck out 108 times in 341 at-bats. That's almost roughly 1 every 3 at-bats. Last year he only struck out 186 times, which is still high, but something to be mindful of. He is still raking the baseball, but I would like for him to get better contact and not just be an all-or-nothing hitter, which is, I'm afraid, is worst-case scenario what he falls into. In center field, we have George Springer. He's hitting 287, 8 homers, and 31 RBIs. He's picked it up. He is regressing a little bit at the age of 31. basically on par with where he is last year, maybe a little worse in the power numbers. He only has 8 homers, which is kind of concerning for me because we did just sign him to that extension. And I've started been thinking, if I want to bring back Correa, if I want to bring back Bell in a couple years, Springer might be the odd man out. He's still at his high in overall. He's still at one of his peaks. So maybe we look to trade Springer in the offseason if we want to make spaces. I don't think we can pay all these guys, and Springer might be the odd man out. Another center fielder, Mark Canha, who we got late in the offseason. He's hitting .306, 16 homers, 42 RBIs, and an all-around utility player as well. He's kind of another reason why I kind of want to move Springer, because Canha has proven in the past few years that he is more than capable of playing center field. Yes, he's not the fastest, so he'll be a little slower out there. And his arm isn't the best either. Maybe he's more suited for a DH role, but Canha has, in my opinion, solidified himself as a player, and it's kind of a reason why I think I can move Springer in the offseason. And then another center fielder that we have listed is Miles Straw, the guy we just called up, and he's hitting phenomenal. .360 since his call up. That is the highest on the team if you want to go by average, and he has hit 3 bombs, so we called him up because we wanted some more speed on the base paths, and instead he's given us a bat. So that's been a pleasant surprise. He is kind of solidifying himself as that utility player that we could use on the bench. And then lastly, we'll go to right field, where we did have Josh Reddick. He's hitting .272, and while he is listed as right fielder, he is not the starting right fielder. But we re-signed him after trading him to St. Louis last year around the deadline. And he is still hitting pretty good. He's still having a quietly good year. But I don't think we're going to bring back Reddick at the end of the year. Probably will hold on to him till the end of the year because I doubt his trade value is that good anyway. But I think we'll depart with him after this season. No, I don't want to go switch teams. I want to switch positions. So we're going to go to pitching now. Starting off with the pitchers, we'll start off with the starters. Justin Verlander, still our best starter even at the age of 38. Even though he is regressing, he's not really playing like it. .253 ERA, 110 WHIP. His numbers are down in a good way. You want to be down numbers if you're a pitcher. He leads the AL with only 7 home runs allowed. 18 starts, 9-3. He's striking out almost a batter an inning. Still playing at a high level. He is going to be 39 next year and a free agent. So depending on the price, depending on if he retires, we'll have to see what happens with Verlander as well. So that's another impending free agent that we have. Next up, we'll go to Jose Urquidy, who is .361, 78 strikeouts, 7-3 record. He was my biggest. I was a huge Urquidy fan last year. I thought he played phenomenal. I think he deserved Rookie of the Year consideration last year. And this year his average gone up, which, I didn't expect him to really put together 2 sub-3 seasons. But .361, I think he's holding his own. I still think Urquidy is a good talent. Then we'll go to Lance McCullers, who is listed as our ace, and who hasn't really played like an ace. .411 ERA, 98 strikeouts in 96 innings, however. His WHIP is a 143, which is still high. He is a free agent after this year as well. I'm kind of having second thoughts on if I want to bring back McCullers next year on a long-term deal, because he's going to want a long-term deal. Right now he wants $13 million a year, but he needs to play better down the stretch if his long-term deal is going to be here in Houston. Then we have Rogelio Armenteros, who's sitting at a .434 ERA. Not much to say about him. That's just kind of what you're going to get out of Armenteros. You're going to get a 4 ERA at best pitcher. And he's just he's doing a spot in the back half of the rotation. Then lastly is Josh James, who is by far the worst of our starting pitchers. .608 ERA, not having a good 2021, did not have a good 2020. Actually spent a lot of his time last year in the minors in AAA. I've tried to be patient with James. I'm trying to give him chance after chance, considering he does have a potential. But he is 28, and I'm starting to wonder, is he ever really going to reach that potential? Should we trade Josh James? I think, in my opinion, I'm kind of losing my patience with him. Yes, he throws fast, but he doesn't throw accurate at all. And it really gets on my nerves whenever I play with him. We've seen a lot of Josh James this year. So maybe it's best if we move on from James, considering we do have players like Forrest Whitley, Francis Martes in AAA who are more than capable, I think, of getting a shot in the rotation. So Josh James, his time is running out. We'll go to relievers now. We'll start off with the long reliever, who is Jose Urania. He is also not having a good season, 5.86 ERA. He did go down to AAA for the beginning of the season, and ever since coming up, he has done better, but his average is still almost a 6. So needs to get working on that. No, he's arbitration after this year, so he's not a free agent. But somebody we acquired last year from Miami, and I mean, I guess he did his job for a year, but I would like for him to step up. Then we'll go to our middle relievers. Austin Pruitt, we'll start off with him. He has been good this year. Pruitt's also one of those guys who's just going to give you about a 4.50 average or ERA at best, which isn't really good, but you kind of know what you get with them. This year he's been surprising. 3.16 ERA, 31 1/3 innings pitched, 109 WHIP. Pruitt's been a very pleasant surprise in the bullpen. Somebody I can actually count on in those middle innings. Speaking of somebody I could count on, Chris Devinsky is also surprised as well. He was called up recently from AAA, where he started this season. He's posted a 2.14 ERA. So the relievers I had starting on AAA are actually the relievers who are doing the best this season. So props to Devinsky and Pruitt for showing out. Brad Peacock, our best reliever last year, has turned into our worst middle reliever this year. He's posted a 5.14 ERA. He was brought back on a 1-year deal just because he was our best reliever last year, so I kind of feel like I had to bring him back. Now I don't really feel like I have to bring him back for another year. In the setup spots, we have Joe Smith, the veteran, who's posted a 1.83 ERA, continues to defy times. At the age of 37, he's still pitching like he's 27. He's having a career 3 seasons and has been very accountable in that 8-inning spot. And then the other 8-inning / 9-inning guy, we kind of have a, I guess, platoon closing pitcher now that we traded Osuna. One of those guys is Ryan Presley, our best reliever by far, and he is going to be a free agent. 1.50 ERA, 0.8 WHIP. He's got 10 saves. He's only blown 2. Just an absolute unit. And the guy who's officially listed as closer, Brad Hand. He's kind of struggled. He's been up or down this year. 3.86 ERA, high if I want him to be my closer. He has 2 saves. He's blown 4, so it's kind of been shaky. We kind of knew, obviously, we weren't going to get Osuna level play from that closer spot when we traded him, but hopefully we can settle that down a little bit. So that does it for our players. We did reach the halfway point, so lastly, I do want to take a look at league leaders just to see what's happening around the league. Start off with the batting average in the American League. Mike Trout leads the league with 330 average. In the National League, it is Justin Turner of the Giants. Yes, Justin Turner went to the Giants on a 1-year deal. He's only getting paid $6 million. That's unrealistic. He deserves way more money than that. But he went to the rival Giants, and he's hitting 357 for San Francisco. In the American League, your home runs leader is Jorge Soler and AL MVP frontrunner Rafael Devers. They both have 28 apiece, but the Major League Baseball leader is Cody Bellinger with 29 in the National League. RBIs, Devers leads the American League with 73. Bergman, though, does have 71. In the National League, Nicholas Castellanos has 70 for Cincinnati, and he's actually your frontrunner for NL MVP, so that's a pleasant surprise if you're a Cincinnati Reds fan. In terms of stolen bases, Starling Marte of the White Sox with 20, and then Trey Turner in the National League with 15. Walks, Andrew McCutchen of the Rays leads, while in the National League, Brandon Belt with 55. OPS, 2 players above a 1 in the American League. Mike Trout with a 138. I mean, I always pitch around Trout, so that's part of the reason why he gets on base for me. Hunter Dozier, he's been a very solid rock for Kansas City the past few seasons. He is also above a 1. In the National League, there's a lot of players above a 1. Michael Conforto of the Mets with 1.153. Castellanos with a 1.040. Bellinger with a 1.036. Jason Hayward having a nice resurgence with a 1.031. Justin Turner 1.028. Kyle Schwarber 1.026. And then Chris Bryant, who is still a Chicago Cub, with a 1.024. We'll go to the pitching side of things now. Saves leader in the American League is Aroldis Chapman with 33. In the National League, it is Scott Alexander with 35. Roberto Osuna, who we traded to Pittsburgh, is 25 saves. ERA, Sean Manaea is your leader. Justin Verlander is second. National League, though, Steven Strasburg, a sub-2 ERA with a 1.69. He's on pace for back-to-back Cy Youngs. Freddie Peralta also only has a 2.03 for Milwaukee. So a nice young ace emerging over there in Wisconsin. We'll go to strikeouts. Chris Sale has 151, absolutely dealing. Max Scherzer and Strasburg, two Nationals pitchers. They've been that 1-2 punch forever with 141 apiece. I think that'll do it for most of it. Oh, I do want to look at pitching war is Chris Sale in the American League, National League, Steven Strasburg. And then batting war, Mike Trout, 6 batting war. I'll just let that speak for itself. In the National League, Cody Bellinger has a 5.7. But I think that is all the league leaders I want to look at. And that'll actually do it for the live com part of the episode. We do have a little bit, so we'll flip it over to that now.
And we'll start with wrapping up this New York Yankees set. Unfortunately, we don't get the 4-game sweep as we do lose 9-5 in Game 4. But winning 3 out of 4 in the Bronx, that's not a bad series at all, as Verlander got shellacked in this one after I just sang his praises, and Urania also did not step up. We have a couple trades as we get into the month of July. Rays and Rangers make a trade of prospects, and the Braves acquire Julio Teheran. Their former ace is back in Atlanta. We'll start off with the Rangers. They get Adonis Medina from the Rays, a solid pitching prospect who's got a nice future ahead of him. And they give up a shortstop prospect. I don't know why the Rays traded for a shortstop, considering they have Wander Franco, but who am I to question the Rays and their prospect handling? The Braves get Julio Teheran back, probably the biggest news out of these two trades. He's been absolutely terrible since leaving Atlanta, but hopefully a return to Cobb County can get him back on track. However, they are trying to ship him down to AAA. He is on the waiver wire, so we could get him if we want, but we're not going to do that. And they traded away a backup infielder in Greg Garcia, who's hit .212 so far with Atlanta, looking to provide some depth for St. Louis. Now, we have 3 series until the All-Star break, and I want to make the All-Star break separate episodes, so we're only going to do 1 series next episode as we play at Philadelphia at a little interleague showdown. So if you're excited for this, make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below. I appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you guys like these recaps as we hit episode number 70. But make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.